Hi, my name is Riley, or Garlic Totes on the internet, and in this video I'll be showing you my college application portfolio. Today's video is a little different for two main reasons. Reason number one, YouTube has never seen my face before, so hi, this is me. So if I seem a little awkward, I'm not used to being on camera, just be patient. And then I also never script my YouTube videos, so if you see this bad boy, it's scripted. Just because I want to get everything concise and make sure that I don't leave out any major details, because this is important, you know? College is important. I just want to give my advice in the best possible way, and I for sure would forget everything if I didn't have a script, so. What I'm about to show you is the portfolio that I used and got accepted to every college that I applied to. So those schools were School of the Art Institute of Chicago, SAIC, in Chicago, Illinois. Then Western Michigan University, the Gwen Frostig School of Art and Design in Kalamazoo, Michigan. The College for Creative Studies in Detroit, Michigan. Maine College of Art and Design in Portland, Maine. Savannah College of Art and Design, or SCAD, in Savannah, Georgia. And Massachusetts College of Art and Design, MassArt, in Boston, Massachusetts. So, and on top of being accepted to these colleges, I also received merit scholarships to all of them. I'm not trying to brag, just it helps to know. Like, personally, I would have liked to know when I was making this portfolio, like, hey, here's what works. Granted, everything is subjective, and it's also important to keep in mind I'm a 4.0 student, and I'm 100% sure that had something to do with my outcome. Being accepted and getting these scholarships, there's no doubt in my mind that the 4.0 definitely helped. So, you know, if you don't have a 4.0, or even if you do, don't expect the same outcome as me. This is just my experience. Maybe it wasn't my art, maybe it was my grades. Who knows? I just want to let you know what I know. Just to give you a little background info on who I am, my name is Riley, as I said in the intro, and I am a senior at a high school in the Midwest. Very redneck place out here. But as cliche as it is, I've been making art for my entire life. It is my biggest passion, it's my hobby, it's everything to me. And it kind of only made sense for me to go into the arts once I realized it was a career, an actual career. Figured that out about age 11, and ever since then it's been my number one goal, and that's just, I don't know, it just seemed right for me. I don't really have any other hobbies, passions. I don't know how to do math, so you know, art was kind of the only thing that made sense for me. So my dream is just go to art school, experience bigger things, get out there in the world, study illustration and printmaking even, and hopefully make a career out of myself this way, which is what I'm striving for now. My high school is extremely small and sports centered. All the funding goes to sports. We didn't really have an art class. I didn't get any formal art training whatsoever until the 11th grade. And so by that point, I'd consider all of what I know, it was all at the time, but now I'd say probably 95% of what I know was self-taught, because I took a graphics class. I had to seek out a graphics class at a technical school, so I'm dual enrolled at a technical school where I do graphics communications for half of the day, and for the rest of the day I just go to high school. Yeah, there I do the more like production aspects of art, so printmaking and dye sublimation and screen printing and all that stuff, block printing, production. So yeah, most of what I know I'd consider to be self-taught. Also, before submitting my portfolio, I attended multiple national portfolio event days and also portfolio review sessions. That's a thing, most art schools do it, where you can get in contact with somebody, a representative of some sort, and they'll do like a Google Meet with you, and you show them your work and they give you feedback. They'll tell you, oh, I think you should add this because blah blah blah. I think you should take this out because it subtracts from your general idea. They'll just give you feedback. So I did a couple of those, and I'll be sharing what I know from professors and working artists, and what they told me. I'll be sharing that with you today. Also, it's important to keep in mind that every college has different criteria. Some require specific pieces, some have a different limit on pieces, like some only want 5, some want 12. You know, it all varies depending on the college. So I'll be showing you today the average of all of them, the pieces that stayed constant throughout everything, sort of just like an average of everything that I submitted. So piece number 1, that's why I'm over in the corner here. Piece number 1 is Mouthy. That's the title of it. It is an 8-inch by 5.5 inch, and the description for it, because these are made on Slide Room, if you don't know. Typically Slide Room is the website, and they'll have like a slot for you to enter your piece, and then like size, description, medium even. So the description for this one is a mutated self-portrait done in graphite pencil that took 2 months to complete. It was my first attempt at a full composition with graphite, and my goal was to challenge the box I had placed myself in by drawing a more ugly, exaggerated, and not conventionally attractive version of myself. I feel like this piece really shows an understanding of value and form. It also shows that I can stray away from reference, which I know is a thing that a lot of people struggle with nowadays. Me too. But having something that cannot be replicated by an image, I guess AI can replicate anything, but anyways, having something that can't be replicated by an image that you found on the internet really does help. It shows them that you are willing to experiment and, stretch proportions and try new weird things that might catch on. You don't know. It shows that I am willing to experiment with mediums, since this was my first one. Just throw myself out there and go for it all at once, which is something that they really value. Is being able to throw yourself at a new project or a new medium. So my first note for this is, I was always told to start with a bang and end with a bang. You want to have your 2 favorite pieces, the ones that you think are the absolute best, at the very beginning of your portfolio and the very end. And they do this because if you have all your favorite ones at the beginning and don't kind of, weave in the worst ones, your reviewer will get bored, essentially, and lose interest, and the only thing that they'll be able to remember by the time that they're at the end of your portfolio is the ones that they didn't like at the end, because they had lost focus throughout it and forgot the good stuff at the beginning. So you want to disperse your bad ones in between your good ones. Start with your favorite, end with your favorite. You stick in their minds more. Piece number 2 is titled Pierce. It is a 5.5 by 8.5. Its description is ink on cardstock drawing created over the course of 3 weeks for an assignment. It was my first time utilizing a stippling technique, and I had exaggerated the bat's features to give it a more malicious appearance. Fancy way of saying this was an Inktober prompt that I had to do. So it was created for my graphics communications class for Inktober. Reviewers like seeing if you have an art class, they like seeing your assignments. They like seeing your submitted work. Because it shows that you worked well when given a prompt, something that isn't just you doodling and having fun. It shows that you can work with deadlines, you get stuff in, you're reliable, and it also gives them a sneak peek of the work that you might make when you're at the school. So they like to see that you try for school, they want to see that you try for university, they want to see that you're going to put in the effort. It's kind of a double-edged sword, because I was also told not to exclusively include art pieces for class, because they also want to see your own independent voice and what you do in your own free time. They want to see that you're passionate about this. So if you're only submitting assignment, it just kind of tells them that you don't do this for fun, that you're not enjoying what you do. And artists that don't enjoy what they do typically don't have very good results, because there's no soul there, and that's what makes art is soul. Don't make me get on the AI soapbox again. Piece number 3 is titled Insomniac. Its description is, well, first of all, it's a digital painting, so I don't really know the size. Because I use Procreate. So the description for it is digital painting created to be an entry in an illustration competition on the topic of mental health. I used myself as the subject and zombified the character by making their skin dull, pale, and wounded, as well as emphasizing visible bone structure and stiffness. In total, 44 hours were spent on this piece. This painting shows that I do not limit myself to traditional work, even though that is my main medium. I can do digital if I'm required to, and that is something that they really value, because in this digital age, it's important to be able to do digital art as well, because you never know when you're going to be hired for something and they're like, hey, I need a logo by tomorrow morning, get on Photoshop. You gotta make it happen. So, it shows that, once again, I'm flexible, I can work with whatever medium I'm given. It also shows that since I said that it was for a competition, it shows that I go out of my way to participate in the arts, to, put myself out there, put my work out there, make myself known as an artist, and they really value that. So if you've ever done like a scholastic competition, anything like that, they really value your work that you put against, in the nicest way possible, put against other people's work, because it shows that you're not afraid of critique or competition, and there's a lot of that in art school, so you got to be ready for it, and they like that. This is piece number 4. It's titled January 1st. Very original. It is a 9.5 by 12 inch, and Its description is acrylic paint on canvas board. The painting was made to commemorate an important event in a friend's life. I used this opportunity to push myself to create vibrant colors and light reflection that I had found difficult to achieve in the past. I was told that the first thing you should do in your description is clarify the medium, because reviewers are kind of hesitant to consider, what does this mean? What is the significance? What's the importance? They're afraid to look deeper unless they know exactly what they're looking at. So if you just go right out and say this is acrylic paint on canvas board, they know what they're looking at, they find it easier to process. That's just what I was told. And yeah. Piece number 5 is just titled Thank You Stamp. It is a 3 by 3 inch. Its description is linoleum carving used to print a cartoony self-portrait onto envelopes that were used at my pop-up shops. They were used to hold and transport any stickers my customers purchased. It took approximately 1 hour to carve the stamp, and several hundred envelopes were printed on over the course of 3 days. This isn't my best work, let's be honest. I've done way more elaborate block prints, but I chose this one because I feel like it shows my ability to build a brand and pay attention to, bettering, this might be the retail talking, but bettering the customer's experience. If they have a cute little envelope to look at, it generally boosts their opinion of you. I feel like it also shows my ability to work in production, like I said, because I printed on hundreds of envelopes, so many, over the course of days. So it shows that I have the stamina to just do repetitive tasks over and over for the sake of the art. The fact that I stated it was for a pop-up shop, or several pop-up shops, shows that I have the work ethic and the balls to put my art into the world, because that's something that a lot of people don't have, and I get it. It's nerve-wracking, but you gotta do it. If you want to be somewhere, you have to put your art out there. Don't be afraid. Everything's gonna be okay. Piece number 6 is titled Teeth Grinder. It is a 5 3/4 by 4 inch piece. The description is created using acrylic paint and Crayola crayon on red cardstock paper. A recreation of a loved one's mouth done from memory to depict their ongoing struggles with dental pain. I feel like this piece is my best example of my more impressionistic art style, because if you look at it from far away, it looks realistic, like realistically enough. But if you take a closer look at it, you can tell that it's just blobs of paint and scratches, frantic little scratches of crayon. And I really like that. That's what I like to do most. Details, not my thing. If you look at my graphites, I don't blend stuff that much. I tend to leave stuff pretty loose and fluid. That's just what I'm into. Some of these schools also required a, what's it called? A statement of intent or an entry essay. And when I had to write an entry essay or a statement of intent, I would often say that I felt most connected to my art when I had to work around my mediums. And that's true. I like getting the cheap stuff and trying to figure out how to work around it to make something good, despite the circumstances that I was given. I'd say it's probably what fuels my art, is just having the crappiest stuff. But since I said that in my essay, I felt like I had to include this piece. Well, I do like it, but I also felt obligated to include this piece because it shows, like, I was only given craft paint from Walmart and crayons, and I made it work, and it looks good. And honestly, this is the piece that most critiquers or reviewers say is their favorite. I had a woman from Maine College of Art and Design contact me. She wrote me a handwritten letter actually and mailed it to my house, and she said Teeth Grinder is my favorite. I just feel like I can feel so much raw emotion in it, and what can I say? It's also important to note that no matter how awkward it may be, you have to glaze everything you do. You have to make everything have a reason. Every design choice you make must mean something, even if it doesn't. Make something up. You could just, originally you would have been making this piece and just, oh, I like red cardstock because I think it looks pretty. But now, to me, the red cardstock emphasizes the pain of the person whose teeth it is. And it's not wrong, like, that did happen. It is based on my loved one, if you're watching this, hi. But it is based on my loved one with dental issues. So the red definitely helps, but that was not originally my intent. I'm losing my voice. Sorry. This is piece number 7. It's titled Return to Nature. It is an 8.5 by 5.5. And its description is created in colored pencil on watercolor paper to express a personal struggle with my connection to womanhood. Cartoon-like gore, pastel colors, soft blending, and elements of nature were used to create a feeling of being at peace with an otherwise horrific situation. It was worked on over the course of the year. The exact time spent on it is unknown. I feel like this piece, the description on it, is my best one. They really like if you're able to nail down an exact artistic element and describe why you used it, why you put it there, make it intentional. They really like if you can do that. So, like me saying, I used the pastel colors and the soft blending to make the character more comfortable with their circumstances, which is just straight up chainsaw to the boob. But yeah, they like to hear that you know what you're talking about. They like to hear that you can use the more professional terms. As stupid as it may seem, it does help. So if you are able to do that, please do that. It shows that you create with intentionality. This is Still Life 1. It's piece number 8, and it is an 8-inch by 11-inch. Its description is still life / observational drawing created using only the objects found in my graphic design class's darkroom as reference. The drawing was made using graphite pencil in hour-long increments over the course of a month. Art schools typically ask for one observational drawing in your portfolio. It's actually phasing out now because, modern art schools are realizing art isn't subjective. Well, it is subjective. Art is subjective, and the industry is changing, and people don't really look at the technical aspects of art anymore. They look at if you can get a feeling across, if you can portray a message, if you can advertise properly. So, art is becoming more diverse, and it's no longer required as much. Some schools still do want it though. Like Chicago was a big one. They wanted the observational drawing, and it's typically in charcoal or graphite. I didn't have any charcoal, so I did graphite. So just make sure before you apply, you are checking your criteria. What they require, what they ask for, should be under the application section of their website. I feel like even if your school doesn't require an observational drawing, it's still important to have one. That's at least what I was told. Observational drawings show your understanding of the world around you. It also shows that you understand how objects interact with one another. It shows that you can grasp a concept of value, or implied line or implied texture. They're pretty important, and you are most likely, if you're going into fine arts of some sort, are going to be doing observational drawings, or figured drawings, figure studies, or even still lifes. You're probably going to be doing those a lot, and so they like seeing that you are getting a head start on it. They like seeing that you don't need complete guidance. You can still manage your way through these classes without much resistance. Piece number 9 is my last one. It's titled Maggot Head. It is an 8.5 by 8.5. The description on it is drawing made in Crayola crayon to explore the topic of excoriation disorder, something that I have struggled with for a large portion of my life. The facial features were smoothed over to shift the viewer's attention to the wounds. It took roughly 3 hours, as I had to work in sections of taped off areas to achieve the chaotic yet purposeful line strokes. This is my most controversial piece. Every single time I went to a portfolio review of some sort, this piece faced a mixture of complete awe and you need to have this in here, and tons of backlash too. Some professors insisted that this was the strongest piece in my portfolio. Others said that my entire thing would shine brighter if I scrapped it completely, got rid of it. I decided to take a risk with this one, not only by including it, but by making it my last piece in my portfolio, because like I said, you gotta go out with a bang, and this was my bang. I just feel like this piece had to be in my portfolio somehow, because I have such a strong connection to it, because of its relation to my personal life, but because I feel like this is the type of art, this perfectly demonstrates what I like to do in my free time. This is the kind of art that I'll just sit down, open a sketchbook, and mindlessly draw out. And it represents my voice as an artist, my independent voice, and what I am willing to do if I have complete free reign. I believe that taking this risk helped my portfolio overall. It established that I know my worth as an artist, and I know what I make, and I know what makes me happiest, and I know what I'd like to do for the rest of my life. So instead of drawing hyperrealism all the time. If I'm given the choice, I will make something like Maggot and I'll be perfectly happy. So that was it in terms of my personal works. I'm gonna scooch over. Now time for general rules of thumb. So number one, absolutely no fan art. They don't like fan art, not into it. They want to see your original ideas. So stealing a character, it's not stealing. Fan art's beautiful. I do fan art all the time. But, you know, including pieces that have other people's characters, other people's concepts, other people's shows, even doing fan art of other artists or taking bits of their art style is kind of iffy. Because you want to show them that you have your own original ideas that you can carry out, execute, and make into a finished product. Number two is quality over quantity. So portfolios typically on Slide Room have a range. They'll be like anywhere from 5 to 12 pieces, or, you know, anywhere from 10 to 20. It is better to have the smallest number possible of good pieces than max it out and have some iffy ones. So if you are in the circumstance of like 5 to 12, do 6, do 5 if possible. If you have like some really big winners that you think need to be in there to carry out your ideas, do as many as you need to, but really try to avoid reaching that max, because the more that these reviewers, keep in mind, are seeing hundreds of people and their work every day. So the more that you throw at them at a time, the less they're going to remember. If you hit them with 5 really strong pieces that really convey who you are as an artist, they are more likely to remember you and more likely to accept you. As for including these pieces, if you have the ability to scan in your works and, you know, bring them into Photoshop and edit the colors and the contrast and get rid of that paper texture, that's recommended because it gives all of your work a unified look. If you can't do that, or your work is 3D or too big to fit in a scanner, I get it. So what you're going to want to do for that is lay down a white backdrop in front of some sort of natural light, either outside or in front of a window. Try to get as much natural light as possible. It really softens up the piece. And then if you are doing outside natural lighting, whatever, it's recommended to take all of these photos in the same time frame. So like, take them all in the same hour, take them all in the same day, preferably not day. Get them all in as close to each other as you can, because the sun sets and the lighting's going to change and the wind's going to blow, and suddenly you're not going to have as unified of a portfolio as you would have otherwise. So if you're going to do natural lighting, just do your best to get it all in one go. If you can't, totally fine. They're not going to discredit you for having a shadow, you know? It is what it is. But just do your best. If you work at all with logo or brand design, try showcasing those brands on like physical products. So for example, if you have a logo that you want to include, don't just slap the logo in there. I should have done this with my envelope thing. I didn't think about it. But yeah, if you have like a logo, a stamp, even like I said, or brand design, anything, try to include it on a physical product. Even if it's just a mock-up, have, you know, a dye sublimated mug with your logo on it. Have a t-shirt with a screen printed logo on it. Have something. Because it shows that this is a real thing that will go out into the world and will become something greater. The most important thing of all time is that they want to hear your voice. This is something that I struggled with a ton, because I just kept thinking, surely they only want to see the good stuff, right? Like, they want to see the best of the best. They want to see that I'm 13 years old and I can do hyperrealism. I couldn't. But you know what I mean. Like, when I went into my first portfolio review, I had trees. I never draw trees, but I had trees and like anatomy studies and busts of my friends and just things that I wouldn't do. And they can tell. Not that it wasn't good work. It is good work, but it doesn't have passion in it. They can tell when something feels obligational. Is that a word? I don't know. They can tell when you did something out of obligation versus when you did something out of passion or just because you thought it was cool. They can tell. They're artists too, and they know these things. They know what to look for, especially since in this age of AI and mass-produced stolen works, it's important that you can be an individual. Have ideas that nobody else has. Execute them in a way that nobody else does. Try your own stuff. Be funky with it. They like seeing that. They like seeing that you have fun with your work. They like seeing that, and they want that in the future. More now than ever, people are requesting individual voices. So don't aim for the best of the best. If you have something that feels soulless but objectively good, it's better not to include it. If you need it as a filler to, you know, meet that 12-page requirement, I get it. I've done that a time or two, but it's best to include what you love, what you're proud of, and what you enjoy doing overall. That is the end of this video. I don't know, sorry if it was awkward. I'm just doing my best. I wish that I had someone to tell me what they did. So yeah, that's what I'm here for. If you like this, go watch my other videos. I have a couple of sketchbook tours out. I'm actually more active on Instagram, so follow me. It's Garlic Toads, same way it's spelled on YouTube. And yeah, my name's Riley, and see ya.